Duel Review is brought to you by Nexus Digital Comics.com. All right, hey everybody. Today's Duel Review, we're going to be doing our focal point, and we're going to use this opportunity to tell you a little bit more about NexusDigitalComics.com.
It is Wednesday the 20th, and I have decided to build an audience. I'm going to play Frankenstein's monster.
Fire bang! I'm RJ. He's Frankenstein. Let's get to it.
Frankenstein's monster, actually.
Yeah, right. Frankenstein was a doctor. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, on today's Focal Point, we're going to be talking a little bit about the new animated comics and the way, particularly that Marvel is doing them. They've released quite a few lately. And then we're going to touch a little bit on NexusIndieComics.com, soon to be NexusDigitalComics.com as well. And so let's start. I guess saw them first, right? You didn't experience them until I said, hey, you should check this out.
Right.
Of course, I'm sure you've heard of them. You've all heard of them. What did you think?
Well, I liked them as far as an interactive comic. I did not like them as far as an animation. I guess I don't know how to say that. It's they're okay.
It's a slightly perplexing thing. I'm assuming that it takes less work than doing a comic series, but that might be a wrong assumption.
It's definitely less work than doing an animation.
Maybe it's basically, if you haven't seen them, you should go check them out online. They're like all on Netflix if you got Netflix. Otherwise, I'm sure you can get snapshots. Yeah. You might actually watch a snippet and think, oh, that's fake or somebody else is doing it, because literally it's like stills and they move across the screen, kind of Ken Burns effect, and then they'll do like this or whatever. I guess Infamous did something like that in their cutscenes.
Yeah,
they kind of played with that.
In the game,
This is a whole animation of it.
This is
horrible. It's even worse when they try to do lip sync and that sort of thing, because they use, in the X-Men one, they use this morphing, kind of Photoshop morphing thing on their face to make them talk, and it just looks ridiculous. It looks like they're in a fishbowl or underwater or something. It just doesn't work right. I guess the reason that we wanted to bring this up is because we are such a fan of comics, and we're all for it being reinvented.
Right.
We want to reinvent
motion
ourselves.
Comics would be interesting.
Yeah, motion comics sounds like a good idea. But I think it really should be more maybe like transitions and action lines and things like that, which the Spider-Woman, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., that Marvel came out with, that one is kind of like that. It does... it is still frames of her, it is still shots, and they do the motion lines, and they have, some good lighting effects and decent voice acting in that one too. But that one kind of works for me. It doesn't seem like they do quite enough.
I didn't like that one.
But then you take it to, the Iron Man one and the X-Men one, and Black Panther one.
I liked the Iron Man one.
Yeah.
The Iron Man one had a good story, and the visuals weren't too detracting, I mean, granted, I would just rather them not move and me read it as a comic than...
Right, that's what I was going to ask you, too, is would you rather just have the comic?
I would much rather have just the comic, because any motion that I see is how I would, my imagination would create it so much better than their Photoshop would.
Yeah. It's kind of like they're using one cell to tell a minute worth of story.
Right.
Which... Again, if it expedites the process, if it gets more out there, then it could be good. It could be a good thing, but it just needs to be refined.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. I think that if they were to look at it themselves, to really watch it and study what they did, they can find out how to do it better.
Right. I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to toy with that a little bit. I want to see if we can do it better. It'll probably be a long process, but just to let you know. I might be blogging about it, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, well, as you say, the Iron Man one I think is probably the best one. I'm not a huge Iron Man fan, but it's the best one. It's a good one to watch.
Are you a bigger Iron Man fan than you are Spider-Woman?
marginally. I like Iron Man in Civil War because he has a lot to do there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, man, I just never really bonded. I like the movies. I love the movies.
Oh yeah.
I think Robert Downey Jr. does a good job, and I like his character. I guess it's just not one of those comics that I think, ooh, I want to read the newest Iron Man.
Yeah, I never did either.
So anyway, but the X-Men one, if you want to see how bad it can be, watch the X-Men one. The story's not bad. Some of the voice acting is okay. It's just this weird lips move and then face moves and then head moves. It's just this horrible thing. So anyway, I give Marvel kudos for trying it.
Right.
And they should have just kept it back. Like, have you've seen the Wolverine versus or the Hulk versus?
I've seen them, yeah.
Hulk versus Wolverine and
Hulk
Hulk versus
versus Thor.
I mean, those are full on animations, and I'm thrilled with those. Why can't they do more of those? You know,
Well,
they've done Planet Hulk.
I think what they were doing was really just dipping their toes in the water with these motion comics.
Well, I mean, like this is one of the things that DC's actually done better, but it's mostly with Batman. I mean, they did like, what is that? The Poltergeist or whatever. What's the one that possesses the green? Anyway, they did a whole bunch of little stories at Green Arrow, and they did this one that I'm trying to remember, and they did a whole bunch of short stories. You know, Superman and Kazam.
Okay.
And,
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So, but otherwise, they've done lots of Batman ones, and they're pretty much all good.
Yeah.
So Marvel
You're talking about animations.
Yeah. That's what I'm.
Yeah, I was trying to think of motion comics that you were talking about.
No. I don't think DC's done any. I don't know of any other motion comics, honestly.
Yeah, I think Marvel really did.
They're pioneering it.
Dip their toes in the water.
Yeah. But I'd rather see the animations or the comics. Perhaps this is. Oh, is this a good way to get people who aren't into comics interested in?
With the flashiness of moving.
Well, I just mean that they're short and concise,
right?
And they're easily found on Netflix. You don't have to buy an issue. You don't have to feel like a nerd or whatever when you buy an issue.
I think
I don't have a problem with it, but clearly, but
I think it can be. I think it can be absolutely. If it's done right, I think a lot of people could gravitate towards it. Sure.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I was just I had a couple hours to kill, and so hey, I should check these out, Or I got an email from Marvel that said they were available, and had that in my mind, and went and checked them out, and they're all pretty short, and I think that's probably fine. Okay, so we also wanted to tell you a little bit more about NexusIndieComics.com. It will contain comics, but also animation and games and
film.
Right. Duel review.
Yeah.
Blogs, we both got a blog, and we're hoping to add some blogs here in the future. One blog possibly just about comics, because we know that there's a lot of void. That was another thing, is that Nexus has become a filler for the void of talking about comics,
right? And
basically indie comic in general.
Yeah,
information.
How many reviews do you get on comics?
Yeah, and
I can't find any.
Of course, we are mixing it up by doing some anime and some video games and whatever else. But
we're touching anything that we really
that's part of
enjoy.
Our life. That's what we do.
The media that we love,
and that's also where we pull inspiration for our own books.
Yep,
it's basically a foundation, a platform for people to grow,
right,
and to really find their stride,
right.
And
because it's hard to start in the comic world, especially now, and.
Yeah, and we both have a heart for that. We have a heart for indie comics, and we've both been trying to do our own stories for a long time. We've had characters for a long time. We've developed them, and we have put a lot of work into it. And so now we're ready to get it out there. And what better way than to share and to have people be able to come, pay a subscription possibly, and experience as many books as they want under the Nexus umbrella, and not be tied into the monthly subscription and buying in paper. We are going to have digital subscriptions available, so it really makes it cheaper for the artist to produce and cheaper for you guys to buy, and so you can experience more for less, and more ability to share. That's the whole goal.
That's the goal there.
Yep. And all the artists retain rights to their
unique creations, and what I mean by that is. There will be a storyline that is strictly Nexus, or a universe, I guess you can call it, that is strictly Nexus, and everyone has to contribute to that because that is how we stay in business. And then there's going to be their own projects, which they will get the primary proceeds for, as well as getting their name out and doing this thing, so that if they get another opportunity and they say, hey, Nick or Nexus or whoever, you know, I want to leave, but I want to take all of this stuff with me. Well, what you put into Nexus is Nexus's, but what you do for yourself, so keep all your good ideas for you, you take with you. You know, all those characters, all those storylines, all those plots, gone. That comes with you. That is yours.
Right.
I'm not trying to take anything from anyone.
Yeah, there's definitely you know, the lifeblood, the backbone that will stay there.
Right.
And that is the Just and parkour.
And whatever else we come up with.
Right. But for now, those are the two we're working on. He's working on another one.
Soon to be Peacekeepers.
And I have added my comics, and basically with the understanding that I'm going to stay here as long as it's mutually beneficial. And it's a good situation to be in. It's something that you can support freely and not have to have any reservations about. And for you fans, it's a good thing to support because there is no middleman, as to speak. There's no higher ups.
Right.
We're all just artists who want to get our stories out. It's basically a direct line between the artist and the consumer, the fan.
Right.
So so you buying a T-shirt or following us on Facebook or whatever is allowing us to do this, and we'll be trying to do Comic-Cons as they come up. Starting with the local one.
Jet City Comic Show
in September. We'll be there, but we won't have a booth. We'll just be around.
Yeah, we'll be walking around handing out flyers.
If any of you guys are going to go there, look for us. And then we're going to be doing Emerald City Comic Con. That time we do have a booth. That's
a vendor booth
in spring.
Very excited about that.
Yeah, so we're going to get a lot of stuff together. So we have a very tight timeline to get all our stuff done.
Yeah, we got a lot to do.
We've got a lot of issues to make and a lot of T-shirts and swag, all that stuff.
Swag.
So we've been hard at work trying to figure everything out.
Very hard at work. Because we also have to work regular jobs.
We also have day jobs too. And hopefully, if all goes well, then we can do this full time and bring you as much good stuff as we can.
Yeah.
And we will see you tomorrow for the anime Basilisk. Yay! Stay tuned.
We love anime. Wait, that was too fast.
Oh!
That's how it's
I had my chance.
All right. See you guys.
Heads up for tomorrow, it's Basilisk, the anime. So Nexus is definitely the brain behind it. He's the one that.
That's right. Nexus is the one behind it.
Did I say Nexus?
You said Nexus.
I said Nexus.
Nick.
Nexus. Nick.
Nick is the person.
I'm just gonna call you Nexus from now on.
That's fine. You know what? I need a nickname.
All right.
Nick
So
Rubber Duck
Nick
doesn't work.
Nick the Nexus. It sounds like you're huge. Sounds like you're some big fat guy. I'm Nick the Nexus.
I'm Nick the Nexus.
I will lead you. Okay, so today on our focal point, we're just going to tell you a little bit more about Nexus. We're going to tell you about our hopes and our dreams, and we are going to talk.
Not like that, though. We're going to talk normally, I suppose.
Possibly. Okay, let's just start over real quick. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for giving us your time.
Oh, wait, I'm Frankenstein. That's a zombie.
No, you're Frankenstein's monster, right?
Oh!
I'm Frankenstein, so... Stop! He lives! He's alive! All right, guys. See you next week. Or, no, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, yeah.
We're idiots. I reserve judgment.